The truth of our money system is the truth of our reality. It is a construct and a scam.
I care not what puppet is placed upon the throne of England to rule the empire on which the sun never sets. The man who controls the British money supply controls the British Empire, and I control the British money supply.
Mayer Amschel Rothschild.
Who controls the food supply controls the people, who controls the energy can control whole continents, who controls money can control the world.
Henry Kissinger. It used to be money's value was backed by gold, i.e. you used to be able to take your money to a bank and exchange it for an equal amount of gold in value. After a while, the greedy bankers decided to do away with gold as a guarantee and just pretend their money had value. So they went full fiat, i.e., they created the money tree which they deridingly said they did not have when anyone asked for money.
Right, any questions?
Yes, Miss President, I have a question. Would it be possible to invest in a decent and fair society for everyone?
You know, Jenny, if we had the money we would, but we need to keep the military-industrial complex going, as many people rely on it for massive bonuses, and Jenny, you know, money does not grow on trees, so the answer is no.
Yes, absolutely yes, we do have
See,
a magic
class,
money
I told
tree.
you so.
Hee crazy, I know.
The bankers, in order to give people the impression fiat money was not a scam, made a deal with the governments of the world. The deal was, the governments would buy the fiat money off of the bankers. And buy is the correct terminology, as a loan implies the lending of something of value. And fiat money has no value, as it is just imagined from an imaginary money tree. The governments would then agree to buy the counterfeit money and the interest attached with their population's labor. This money would be collected off the debt slaves via taxes.
Look, Lord de Fuckham, it's really simple. It says here
And
death
here.
to the slaves in the small print.
Yes, Lord Tosmolot, but is it moral, and will
Here
people
too.
die because of our greed?
No, it's not moral, and millions will die.
Great, let's do it.
So the governments buy more counterfeit money from the bankers and make their voters pay for this imagined money, plus interest. by saying it is money to invest in new infrastructure. Sounds reasonable, doesn't it? What is actually happening is, governments buy new money. Use this new money to pay off some of the compounded interest on old money purchased previously. This allows them to buy some more new money, and on, building an iceberg of debt, which we only get to see the tip of. So when a new government is voted into power, they can say with hand on heart, the debt the country is now in is nothing to do with them. And as if by magic money tree, the new government can now borrow more money from the banks because they are the new government and have nothing to do with the previous government, which had run out of credit with the banks, which was the reason they lost their position of power. So the new government steps in and borrows more money from the banks. Until they also borrow so much, the banks have a reasonable excuse to deny them any more money. And the scam starts over again. Governments change, but what remains constant is the bottom of the iceberg gets bigger and bigger. And when I say the bottom of the iceberg gets bigger, I mean the debt humanity has to the money printers gets bigger. And to everyone watching, there is always a reasonable reason as to why we the people can keep borrowing and borrowing money we cannot afford. The bankers have long since passed caring about how much we owe them. The only thing that matters to them is that we owe them, i.e., we are their debt slaves. They pass this scam from one political party to another, like a baton in a relay race. Can you remember this happening in the past?
All that has
change. Don't worry, Clara, the economy will be okay. We will be okay, as this government might have overspent, but the new one will borrow more money and invest to save us.
Yes, Dad, I hear you, but what you are saying sounds insane. Tee-hee-hee.
Look, Clara, a squirrel.
Mommy, will we ever pay enough tax? So we can make money for ourselves and start living a bit.
For fuck's sakes, Anna, stop dreaming.
This fraud became a drug to all involved because once you have pulled money out of thin air, it becomes impossible to stop. So they kept printing and printing, but this caused a problem. Every time a new dollar bill is printed, the value of that bill is added by our governments agreeing to make our children and our children's children pay for it with tax. And some of the value is taken from every other dollar already in circulation. So the value of the money in our pockets goes down, giving the impression the cost of everything is going up. A double whammy. The only long-term winners in this scam are the money printers, as they are making real value and assets while everyone else is accruing a debt. i.e., debt slavery. But in a world you have constructed, everyone else's problem is just an opportunity for you. The banks realized that if they also called in their loans, this would allow them to repossess assets from people who had taken the bank's loans. People who would have had no trouble paying back the loan if the banks had not deliberately crashed the economy. Effectively, the banks are making it impossible for people to pay back their loans, and giving the banks the legal excuse to steal the borrower's assets. As the central banks are a monopoly, they could afford to let some banks be bankrupt, as it was their savers and investors that would take any losses.
Anna, do you remember when you asked if we would ever pay enough tax?
Yes, Mommy. Is it going to be soon?
Well, Anna, you can stop dreaming. We are in so much debt to the banks. After being forced to buy genetically altered seeds, we can no longer afford, and we cannot use natural seeds as they are now illegal, as they are not safe. Then add to that the cost of fertilizer. We have been taken over by a corporation, and Anna, the good news is, they say we are going to be happy.
If the fucking interest rates had not gone up, we would still own Smith & Son Steel Fabricators, wouldn't we, Dad?
Jim, it's a fucking damn shame you cannot buy a piece of land, build your own house on, grow your own food and drink rainwater. You know what I mean, live off grid.
Sure you can, Tony. It's a free country we live in.
No, you can't. I've looked into it. Because I don't want to be happy. According to the powers that be, rainwater is toxic, and I do not have the rights to genetic crops or the correct paperwork or planning permission, and it's just not environmentally safe or health and safety safe.
Right, team, where's that sticker? The one that says we are all a team. Oh, thanks, Sandra.
I heard a conspiracy that we are all going to be made redundant, as artificial intelligence can now do our jobs. Anyone else heard this?
Don't be silly, Andy. Stop listening to conspiracy theories. It's all nonsense.
Oh, thank God for that. I remember laughing my bollocks off when the laboring team was replaced by robots.
It will never happen to us. We are the special team, yeah.
We are the dog's bollocks, irreplaceable.
The magic money tree is a tree that just keeps giving. Because the banks and governments are working together on the scam, they came up with another winner as they were going through a bust cycle of their scam. The governments would save struggling corporations by saying they are too big to fail and would cost too many job losses, so they would borrow more money from the central banks and keep them operating. A bailout. Creating zombie corporations to go with a zombie population. Remember when they say refinance or bailout, or borrow more money to invest? What they are really saying is that they will get you to give money to a corporation via higher tax rates, or more accurately, make you work harder for longer and for less money. This crime is not only perpetrated on you. This scam has been going on for so long, they are putting your descendants in debt, going how far into the future, no one knows. Try and imagine this in real simple terms. Imagine everyone is born in exactly the same way and from where no one knows. So logically we are all equal, yet the forebears of the New World Order created a system guaranteeing their descendants or friends will have other beings slave for them. Only because they run the system created to control people who have no understanding of the crime being committed against them. All the while, the cost of all this money printing is being paid for by the debt slaves the system is producing. Henry Ford said,
"It is well enough that people of the nation do not understand our banking and monetary system, for if they did, I believe there would be a revolution before tomorrow morning."
This system guarantees the world's population are debt slaves, even before they are born and right up to the day they die. So we have an economy financed with fiat money, i.e., imaginary money bought from private individuals, turning people into debt slaves. They then hide this crime behind the complexity and righteousness of the systems, institutions, and laws they created. And we see this illusion as the people in Plato's cave saw the shadows on their cave walls. We see debt slavery as our normal reality. This scam has been going on for 100 plus years, and the majority of the general population is nearing the point of having no assets. This is causing the bankers a problem, as who wants to work just to pay a debt? So what is the New World Order? For that is what the establishment system is going to do about this problem.